Battleground West Bengal. Mamata versus BJP over Tagore. Mamata banks on Bengal's cultural icon, Rabindranath Tagore.
BJP Delhi নেতারা এসে যারা বহিরাগত জানে না বাংলার কালচার কি, রবীন্দ্রনাথ কি, নজরুল কি, নেতাজি কি, শান্তিনিকেতনে কোনদিন জন্মগ্রহণ করেছিলেন।
BJP invokes the rich legacy of Gurudev.
गुरुदेव ने हमें स्वदेशी समाज का संकल्प दिया। उन्होंने आत्मनिर्भरता के लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करने के लिए आत्मशक्ति की बात कही थी।
Tagore, the heart of Bengali pride. Now a flashpoint to reignite the eternal political debate. Insider versus outsider. Regionalism versus nationalism. TMC versus the BJP. Drop focus on To The Point this evening.
Good evening, I'm Preeti Chaudhary. In an elections, most of our viewers would know that symbolism, tokenism, optics can go a long way. So what did it mean today that Mamata Banerjee, exactly 9 days after Amit Shah, at the same place, Bolpur, Birbhum, held a roadshow. Mamata Banerjee held a roadshow. She walked 2 kilometers of it, but in her hand was a picture of Bengal's cultural icon, Rabindranath Tagore. The same icon that Prime Minister Modi had invoked just about a week ago in West Bengal. What does it all mean? What does it come down to? And is the narrative right now of the elections, tectonic elections in 2021, getting set, at least where the TMC hopes to set it, an insider versus outsider debate?
It is the bloody battleground of Bengal. Arson, vandalism and clashes between BJP and TMC supporters in Nandigram. Buses ransacked as BJP supporters were on their way to former TMC, now BJP leader Suvendu Adhikari's rally. Not very far from Nandigram, Birbhum district, Bolpur city, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee held a mega road show, carrying a picture of Bengal's cultural icon Rabindranath Tagore, in a city where he built his beloved Shanti Niketan. Mamata Banerjee bolstered the outsider narrative. Speaking in Bengali, she tore into the BJP, charging the BJP of hurting Bengali pride.
যেভাবে বিশ্বকবি রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুরের বিশ্বভারতীকে কেন্দ্র করে, শান্তিনিকেতনকে কেন্দ্র করে আশ্রমিক যে ভাই বোনেরা আছেন এই আক্রমণ থেকে রেহাই পায়নি, এই অবস্থায় একবার প্রতিবাদের ভাষাকে জোরালো করবার জন্য, জোরদার করবার জন্য আজকে বোলপুরের এই রাঙামাটিতে আমার আসা।
Mamata's march comes at the very place where 9 days ago Amit Shah held his first roadshow in Bengal. Using the highest expression of Bengali culture and identity, Rabindranath Tagore, Mamata's direct attack on outsider BJP is timed days after Prime Minister Modi invoked the rich heritage of Gurudev himself.
गुरुदेव ने हमें स्वदेशी समाज का संकल्प दिया था। वो हमारे गांवों को, हमारी कृषि को आत्मनिर्भर देखना चाहते थे। वो वाणिज्य और व्यापार को आत्मनिर्भर देखना चाहते थे। वो आर्ट और लिटरेचर को आत्मनिर्भर देखना चाहते थे। उन्होंने कहा था, राष्ट्र का निर्माण एक तरह से अपनी आत्मा की प्राप्ति का ही विस्तार है.
There are 5 months to go. It's touted to be a tectonic election. Placed with a formidable challenge from the BJP, Mamata is trying to set a theme. Insider versus outsider. Regionalism versus nationalism. TMC versus the BJP. The question is, will it strike a chord in the Bengali heart? Bureau Report, India Today.
So which one will it be? Will Mamata Banerjee, the TMC, be able to convince the Bengali heart on Bengali pride, regionalism? Or will the BJP find its way by saying that this is just a fig leaf that the TMC is using to hide inefficiency and running the state like a fiefdom? Which one would it be? We'll only know when that last vote is counted 5 months from now. But let's cut across to our guest this evening. Joining me is Arpita Ghosh, TMC MP. I have Tom Wadakan, BJP spokesperson. In just about a minute, we'll also be joined by Subhajit Bagchi, senior journalist. Mr. Wadakan, let me begin with you. You know, in a state like West Bengal, which takes immense pride in its state, in its region, in its identity, at the heart of which lies no one else but Rabindranath Tagore. We saw that today as well, being used by Mamata Banerjee. Would you reckon that there's a formidable task for the BJP to break through, and the narrative is already being set by Mamata Banerjee?
Preeti, I really don't know who said the narrative. The Prime Minister's speech was has gone deep down the Bengali heart. What is this pride that you talk about, Bengali pride? The Bengali pride is essentially nationalism. This is where the spirit of nationalism arose. This is where what Mamata Di can't understand, that nationalism came in from Bengal. The green field of, the sprouts of nationalism rose from Bengal. And when you talk about nationalism, regionalism is just something she's trying to create. It does not exist in Bengal. Bengal is one place which was the capital of India at one stage. And the kind of, Rabindranath Tagore, Gurudev's poetry, his philosophy of life, of course his internationalism also, but was totally connected with the freedom struggle and nationalism at the core. What she has done is, by carrying a photograph of Gurudev, she is imitating us. And that is the greatest compliment. She has forgotten about Rabindranath Tagore till now. Now she has started copying the same site where the Home Minister travelled and trying to prove that she is more better than that, and carrying a photograph of Gurudev. You think the Bengalis are not intelligent enough to read through this? Nationalism is the core of Bengali pride. Let's get that very straight. And if they are fighting against that, I'm sorry, they're on the wrong track. They're being led into the garden path by that gentleman called Prashant.
All right, okay. Arpita Ghosh, as the BJP says, regionalism being used as a fig leaf to hide your own inefficiencies and the fact that you've run the state like a fiefdom.
Let me tell you one thing, that firstly, yes, Rabindranath Tagore always said for nationalism and internationalism precisely. But what sort of nationalism? The BJP, the way they want to run a country, or what is their thought process, and what exactly they are doing in all parts of India, what they are exactly doing. Are they really trying to follow Tagore's path? Or like Tagore's, the many people in India, people in India who are, born here, who are really famous and try to give this nationalism a proper shape. And Rabindranath Tagore, if you go through his philosophy, so it never matches with BJP. So if you say that we are trying to give it a regionalism, we are putting Rabindranath Tagore in a regional thing, I really beg to offer that this is not so. Tagore is somebody whom you cannot find out in anywhere. Not like I believe in philosophy. I'm not a spokesperson of Trinamool Congress. I'm an MP, and I believe that the philosophy Rabindranath wanted to say, if now he is the main factor, if it is coming up, that philosophy, he always wrote what he thought that goes against BJP's philosophy. That is the first point. And Bengal understand very well that what BJP is trying to do in Bengal and what exactly Trinamool Congress and Mamata Banerjee is thinking. So what is our thought process? That is also Bengal people's know. They deal us with every day.
All right. Okay, stay with me.
So,
Ma'am, stay with me. I'll come back to you. I want to also introduce Subhajit Bagchi. He's a senior journalist. He's with us as well. Mr. Bagchi, you know, to set the premise of this debate as well, for somebody who's seen politics in your state, which is the state of West Bengal, to use, you know, optics go a long way, to use the picture of Rabindranath Tagore, marching with it, what kind of messaging is Mamata Banerjee trying to create? Especially when the Prime Minister invoked Gurudev, which is Rabindranath Tagore, just a week ago.
So it is the idea of Bengali pride, you know, which has been, I mean, there is a mindset that Bengal is extremely driven by culture, which I have not always felt so. But because you see maximum amount of political violence in the state. So when you talk about Satyajit Ray and culture and Rabindranath Tagore, it doesn't necessarily always work. But both sides are doing it. And it has, during CPIM's times, in the left time, they never used to fall back on Tagore and other things so much. But this has been, you know, when Mamata Banerjee came into the scene from, 20, 25 years back, she slowly started building up her narrative around that line, and she is taking it forward. BJP is also taking it forward. I mean, every off and on, the BJP leaders visit Shanti Niketan, for that matter. I mean, why do they do that? So they also fall into that narrative. So they also try to counter that narrative, and Shanti Niketan is always page one story in today's Bengali newspapers. So both sides are playing it up, and Tagore is a figure who always comes up in the elections, even the local elections. So it will happen, whether we like it or not. That is how it is. It was not there. It has evolved. Obviously, you have other questions related to outsiders, etc., which, as you go into it, then we can discuss in more detail, like why it happens in Bengal.
All right, okay. And when you talk about outsiders, and I'll take that question to Mr. Tom Wadakan. Mr. Tom Wadakan, that's a charge that has been laid at the doorstep of the BJP, which is trying to make inroads as the primary challenger to TMC, which is the outsider tag. Who will be your chief minister? You don't even have a face right now, which actually says the son of the soil.
Preeti, I've said that, reiterated it. It's been said by our leaders. The protocol for this is the selection is done by the lawmakers who get elected. That is the basis of democracy. I cannot say that a dynast who will decide that whoever, Abhishek or whatever, is going to be the next person, or I'm the next person. No, it's not that. You have people who are elected, and democratically they decide who their leader is. That is part of democracy. If you have a practice of, look, I am the king and I'm the queen, I'm everything, that you're dictating something. So I think that practice is good. And I think as a practitioner of a democratic system, we believe in that. Now, question of outsider, insider thing, it doesn't work in a state like Bengal. I'm sorry, it doesn't just work. I mean, it's not the psyche of the Bengali mind. I mean, you find Bengalis all across the country. They are integrated at every stage of our country. You find them in Kerala, you find them in Delhi, you find them across. You find them across the globe. They are not people you can confine and say they belong to Bengal. They belong to this country. What is this outsider-insider racket? Okay. It's a pure racket just to win votes. And after you win votes, it's violence as ever. Even today, this lady who's a member of parliament talks about philosophy of Gurudev. Philosophy of Gurudev doesn't mean the opposition party rally, somebody is going to attend, you ransack the bus and you do violence in the streets, and then you say that everything is peaceful, and you question the BJP, saying that, well, your philosophy doesn't fit into our worldview. I'm sorry, the jury is out. They will make their judgment, and the vote will be cast. Let the people of Bengal decide who is an outsider and who's an insider.
All right, but Ms. Ghosh, when we talk, right, sir, Ms. Ghosh, when we talk about the outsider-insider debate, you know, it's a little rich coming from the TMC to talk about outsiders. Most of the BJP are your insiders. The latest Suvendu Adhikari, and the list can go on and on and on.
Let me tell you one thing. First of all, this outsider thing, people are saying that is, I think this is about the culture of the people who are coming into Bengal and trying to impress Bengalis. We are talking about their culture, not about their the kind of culture they are bringing in Bengal. That is what we are saying. We are not talking that you are an Indian. I am also an Indian. So basically, we are Indian. So nobody can be outsider. That is what I believe. First point is this. Second point is this is the rally thing that we are ransacking on rally and all that. This is somewhat exaggerated. And
no, madam, the point I'm trying to make is that most of your insiders are now BJP insiders. So what are we talking about?
No, let me tell you. Certain people were earlier with us, like Shubhendu or some others who has gone to BJP. We are not really worried about that. You know, in a big family, it happens. If somebody wants to go out, and join somebody else, we are not really worried about that. We are very keen that we know that Bengal people, they know Trinamool Congress very well. They know also BJP very well because they are observing throughout India that what BJP is doing in other states. So we are not really worried about that. May some Shubhendu Adhikari will go and some people may come. Aana jana to laga rahega. We don't really bother about that. And what he said that about the philosophy and on Tagore, once again I'll say, please, I know you are a very learned man, so please go through the philosophy of Tagore once again. You will understand that what I am trying to say, where it differs from BJP and why it is just opposed philosophy from BJP's philosophy.
All right, I want to go and get in a word from Subhajit Bagchi right now. Mr. Bagchi, how do you see things panning out? Because, you know, there is an attempt to set a narrative. Will it work is something entirely different.
You mean the insider-outsider narrative, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, see, there are two separate things completely here. One is, of course, you cannot have this insider-outsider debate in Bengal because Marwadis of Bengal are here, which predates British. They used to give loans to the Mughals. I mean, it's like that. And Biharis, the working class, are here all the time for hundreds of years, So that is not what Trinamool intend to say, because they always say that these are our internal people who are staying here. But Trinamool is today scared because they can see a tsunami coming. They can see a whole administrative process, the money, the manpower, everything coming and focusing on Bengal. The Bengal in the 13th century, I'm sure all of us, some of us may know, that there's this Baro Bhuyas, the 12 warrior landlords, of Bengal in 13th century. When this Mughal ruler, Ghiyasuddin Shah, was coming from Delhi or that from the north, it was these warrior landlords who stopped them. But after 300 years in 16th century, Jahangir defeated these Baro Bhuyas. What Mamata Banerjee today, it is coming from the west, coming from the north. So what Mamata Banerjee is doing today is exactly the Baro Bhuya playing out. In the sense, Baro Bhuya is the 12 landlords. So what she's doing, she's going to Binoy Tamang, she's going to there's Bimal Gurung, and then in the plains you have the Muslim leaders, multiple Muslim leaders, then the Dalits, then the tribals. Then what she's doing, she's going to the local satraps, these Baro Bhuyas of Bengal. This tradition has come back Bengal after 500 years, just because there is something that she can see coming, we all can see coming, which is big, which is too big for her to handle. It is really, really unimaginably big. And in such a situation, she has to collate, she has to kind of bring everybody together. While doing that, she's taking help of Tagore. While doing that, she has created, or perhaps unwittingly created, this insider-outsider debate. But it is actually a resistance that she is trying to foment against something which is quite colossal, quite big.
All right, okay, Mr. Vadakar, now how do you see when there is this, build-up which is happening from Mamata Banerjee's side? How does the BJP breach that? Because like I said, you might have a Dilip Ghosh, you might have a Suvendu Adhikari right now, but you don't have a Mamata Banerjee. When it comes to in terms of personalities, they all fail in front of her. She is a cult personality where West Bengal is concerned, sir.
Preeti, I'm sorry to say we don't need a Mamata ji. People of Bengal have realized that. The shelf value of Mamata Banerjee is over. The reality is the kind of anarchy that has been set up. I have people in Bengal, in the area that I live, and I mean, it is across the board. They are communists. They belong to all sorts of political parties. And sitting here, right in Delhi, they tell me the kind of violence that she has let loose. I think there is something called a duty towards governance.
Okay.
You can't have a state in anarchy, and so we don't need her. She can do whatever she wants. She can be frozen in time. She can revive old history, like the journalist on the panel said. But believe me, people in Bengal are fed up with her.
All right, Ms. Ghosh, quickly respond. I'll need to close the show then.
Actually, yeah. One thing, that is the anarchy he's mentioning, that he can, what exactly he is seeing anarchy in Bengal, but he cannot see any anarchy in UP. That's the saddest part. So Bengal people also understand what BJP is trying to do over here. Let's see, and it makes sure that again, third time Mamata Banerjee, shelf value, she will show it to you. Bengal people will show it to you that what is her shelf value. Third time, we are no tsunami, nothing. We will, we can, and we win. That's all.
All right, appreciate you all for joining us. Thank you there.
Thank you.
We'll only know what happens in terms of is it the BJP or the TMC when that last vote is counted, and that's 5 months away. Well, you know, a sheer look at what all we can expect in the months to come. Appreciate you all for joining us. Thank you. With that, it's a wrap and to the point. To stay with us, up next is Rahul Kanwal. Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.